The doctor felt lost in the dark without finding the cause, so he risked testing the big man for muscle weakness. If successful, it could save this big brother, but one little mistake, and he might be sent to jail. After getting the big guy's consent, Yehan bet his future again and injected the test drug into his body. The big guy's heart stopped suddenly while everyone thought he was done for, but then he woke up again, sure enough. Yehan's judgment was correct. The big guy fully recovered under Yehan's care and returned to the ring. He even became the KFC champion and thanked Yehan online. The next day, his pain clinic was overflowing with patients. Xu Xiang Jian Wu Jiang. Please jot down your surname and ID number first. It's really such a hassle. Just then, a strange patient appeared at the door, bleeding heavily yet feeling no pain. Not only were his ankles full of nails, his left arm was broken, and his right arm splintered. Even the doctors were about to jump out of their skins when they saw this horrifying scene. While stitching up the boy, Yehan chose no anesthesia, convinced the boy had a rare congenital pain insensitivity, unaware of appendicitis till his belly nearly burst. Such cases are almost non-existent globally, and there's only been one in South Korea. Even though he knew this condition could, Yehan insisted on a temperature sensitivity test, alternating the boy's hand between hot and cold water and constantly training his cognition. Even if the brain receives no pain signals, subconscious reactions still occur. It's just training cognition, then suddenly, the boy felt like his hand was changing. Yehan quickly pulled out a silver needle to test it. Gently pricked the boy's foot. Well, the painless kid reacted. Yehan wasn't happy, it was impossible. Yehan quickly checked the boy's file when suddenly he had a crisis. His foot throbbed. The pain quickly spread throughout his body, but the examination showed nothing abnormal, and even painkillers had no effect. Times ill, as everyone was at a loss, Xiaomai suddenly thought it might be illusion-induced symptoms, with over 500 possible causes. Yehan suggested narrowing it down via pain insensitivity, but cases were too rare to find anything. Yehan turned to leave reluctantly. Hearing this, Xiaomai had an idea, chased him and shared her thoughts. Yehan found the cause, but his elder brother refused treatment, fearing he'd feel no pain or his mother's warmth again. Yehan said nothing, led the boy into his lab, revealed adulthood secrets, and the boy agreed to treatment. However, he had one condition: he wanted to taste the flavor of ice cream. The next day after his surgery, the boy began to feel the thrill of pain. He wanted to describe the exhilarating experience as an explanation, but he didn't dare because he didn't want him to feel the thrill of pain. Yet it was helpless because he was worried about him experiencing the thrill of pain. So he desperately sought help. The next day, his surgery succeeded, right as he again lost pain sensation. Post-surgery, the boy vowed to Yehan to protect himself until the professor cured him. Meanwhile, Xiaomai, curious about Yehan's secret, opened his computer. Then, she found an astonishing truth. Yehan was the congenital insensitivity patient. Just then, Yehan suddenly appeared, and while on the bus to the hospital, an elderly man suddenly started coughing violently. Saliva splattered, making the bus a spray zone. The radio announced a highly contagious Nipah virus outbreak in South Korea. Subtitles: symptoms: high fever, headache, cough, high mortality. People on bus backed away, put on masks. The old man said he'd had headaches for a year after arriving at the hospital. Xiaomai checked his brain scans, finding no abnormalities. She had the nurse check his temperature first. It was 39.5, he told us. The girl with him also got a high fever. The man also said had been nauseous from poor appetite. All signs suggested Nipah virus, but with a minimum 5-day incubation, it couldn't spread so fast. At that moment, the old man, a mysterious threat, coughed violently and sprayed her in the face before Xiaomai could react. Everyone finally grasped the situation's gravity. The door was locked when they arrived. Soon, the hospital implemented emergency measures, quarantining all present. Xiaomai donned protective gear, yet suspected the old man didn't have Nipah virus. She told him to lie left for an X-ray, but the old man seemed disoriented and walked the opposite way. Xiaomai instantly felt something was off and rushed to grab him, but unexpectedly, disaster struck. Dr. Wen Chen arrived only to find that Xiaomai had lost consciousness. The elderly also showed paralysis symptoms. The phone rang, prompting her to administer a sedative. Yehan had witnessed everything from the control room. Fortunately, the old man was temporarily out of danger due to timely treatment, but Xiaomai remained unconscious, a critical situation. Yehan sprinted to the office. Ignoring doctor's times, Igrov 05 am at letter 3 ca at a quarter, Ogrova micro am at stops, rushed into the quarantine area in protective gear. Xiaomai had minor injuries. At this point, Xiaomai regained consciousness. Yehan listed all the old man's symptoms and found it might not be the Nipah virus. He decided to identify the cause before the elderly man's health declined. Lacking testing equipment, Yehan leveraged the team, assigning each to look into possible patient illnesses. With the team's hard work, Yehan obtained an important clue. The old man had lost a drastic amount of weight over the last 6 months. He had lost a total of 40 pounds. It was impossible to lose that much so quickly just due to loss of appetite. The old man suddenly awoke, disclosing he had taken sleeping pills months ago, causing vomiting. The old man had no history of insomnia. Xiaomai inquired why, and he, realizing his slip, fell silent. Yehan noticed the clues and promised to keep it a secret. The old man finally revealed the truth, but just then, the old man showed symptoms again, as if his hearing was also becoming problematic. His oxygen saturation and blood pressure fell, lymph nodes swelled, leaving everyone at a loss. So many symptoms emerged in one day.